mean, undoubtedly this spell is really cool. Undoubtedly it feels deeply magical. This feels like something I would just expect a basic bred lich to have at their disposal, right? This is an amazing villain tool. It is a top tier villain gimmick. I think this would make a great magic item. I don't know if it makes a great spell, just 'cause I don't love that as a DM, you are auto opted into this because it's a 6th level wizard spell, right?
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to talk about the spell Magic Jar. This is
I have nothing. Jar.
it's
It's
jar.
magic?
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Those are words that you're allowed to call this spell. It seems like this feels to me like a spell that came out of 2nd edition or 1st edition. Like, needlessly complicated. What is it doing of practicality? There's a lot of words for something that doesn't fit within the realm of most Dungeons and Dragons campaigns anyway. That's my recollections to it, at least. But it's honestly been a second since I've read it. So, want to dive in?
Yeah, I mean, all right, yeah, we'll go through the spell description before we discuss it more.
Okay, so it's a cast time of an action. It's a 6th level necromancy spell. Range itself, I'm sorry, cast time is a minute. I definitely just said an action. Range itself, the target says see text, which is concerning. Components are verbal, somatic, and material components. It requires a gem, crystal, reliquary, or other ornamental container worth at least 500 gold pieces. Its duration is until dispelled, and it's a wizard spell. Your body falls into a catatonic state as your soul leaves it and enters the container you used for the spell's material component. While your soul inhabits the container, you are aware of your surroundings as if you were in the container space. You can't move or use your reaction. The only action you can take is to project your soul up to 100 feet out of the container, either returning to your living body and ending the spell, or attempting to possess a humanoid's body. You can attempt to possess any humanoid within 100 feet of you that you can see. Creatures warded by a protection from evil and good or magic circle can't be possessed. The target must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, your soul moves into the target's body. The target's soul becomes trapped in the container. On a success, the target resists your efforts to possess it, and you can't attempt to possess it for 24 hours. Once you possess a creature's body, you control it. Your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the creature, though you retain your alignment, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. You retain the benefits of your own class features. If the target has any class levels, you can't use any of its class features. Meanwhile, the possessed creature's soul can perceive from the container and use its own senses, but it can't move or take reactions at all. While possessing a body, you can use your action to return from the host body to the container if it is within 100 feet of you, returning the host creature's soul to its body. If the host body dies while you're in it, the creature dies, and you make a charisma saving throw against your own spellcasting DC. On a success, return to the container if it is within 100 feet of you. Otherwise, you die. There's like a little bit of zoning that was happening there, and then that just like snaps you right back to it.
Yep.
If the container is destroyed or the spell ends, your soul immediately returns to your body. If your body is more than 100 feet away from you or your body is dead when you attempt to return, you die. If another creature's soul is in the container when it's destroyed, the creature's soul returns to its body if its body is alive within 100 feet. Otherwise, that creature dies. When the spell ends, the container is destroyed.
All right.
Get all that?
Maybe. I got a lot of it. Some of it.
So the gist of it is
yeah.
you make a demon box, and then you put your soul in the demon box, and then you try and possess other creatures while you're in the demon box, and if you succeed, you put them in the demon box, and they can't come out until you let them out. And you get to take a masquerade in their body, but don't get any of their features, that if they're class-based features. You do get species-based features, though. If you possess a dragon, you get their breath, and that kind of stuff.
Well, it's a humanoid only.
Sure, if it's a Triton, you can now breathe underwater. There we go.
Sure.
I
guess it's cool if you if you're lacking in the physical attributes and you just you go possess some big tough guy, then you've got high intelligence, and then high whatever they had, strength, dexterity.
There's definitely got to be an arc on some TV show out there where some super wizard nerd was sick and tired of being scrawny, so they decided that they hated their body enough that they were willing to put their soul in a magic jar, just capture a random dude, like a bro from down at the local gym, just someone that's absolutely shredded, and then just steals their body, throws their old body out into the trash, and then just lives as the bro dude for the rest of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking this spell is. I mean, of course, it could also be used to possess a specific person for specific reasons. I'm gonna possess the king and then make this wizard a lord or whatever.
I think so. Yes, that is what it's supposed to be used for. And I think it could be used in interesting fashions in that way. I kind of love everything about this that I've just read. I definitely don't feel like it belongs in 5th edition as far as complexity goes. This does not feel like a spell that I would expect a regular player to go like, oh, I'm going to take and understand and use Magic Jar to the fullest of its potential, right?
Well, I mean, it's a level 6 spell, so if you're playing from level 1, you got some time to learn the game a little while, and then yeah, by the time you're getting this high, yeah, you're going to look ahead and see what spells are available and hopefully do a little homework. I don't have a problem with that. You don't have to take this spell if you don't want it.
I think it's 95% or more of the people that exist, right, are the wizards that don't take this spell if they don't want to, because it's the exact character that wants this needs to be evil, needs to want to actively endanger themselves and want to have larger than life schemes. And I just don't think D&D tables are really about these larger than life schemes. I don't think D&D tables are often about the I'm going to possess and go around as the mayor for a year. That's not a thing that they're really interested in. There are 24 ways to control somebody between dominate person, suggestion, a ton of other cheaper and lower risk ways to possess people, or at least compel people to follow your bidding.
But I mean, like, all right, so that's maybe how it was meant to be used, but I still like the other way that you were talking about. Just go possess the gym bro so I can have a better body.
It just gives you a con of 14 and a strength of 16, and that's what the spell does.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to read exactly again how you die. So, if you're possessing the body, you can use your action to return from the host body to its container if it's within 100 feet of it, and then if the host body dies, it's dead. On a success, you return to the container within 100 feet of you. Otherwise, you die.
Right.
So if the host body... Oh. If the body that has the missing soul is dead...
Yes.
The other soul's still in there. And if you want to go back to you want to go back into the jar, you make a check against your own spell DC or you die? That's nuts. Weird.
Well, I mean, that's one way to look at it, but it's also, all right, I'm in the host body. I get peppered with arrows, right? Normally, if that happened to me, I'd just flat out die. This at least gives me a chance to go back into the jar.
Assuming you're lugging around your original body, right? Assuming you've got the...
Well,
you're
no,
just unconscious.
You don't have to. Your body doesn't have to be around. The jar does. Either one or the other, right?
I think possessing body return from the host body to the container.
Yes.
Returning the host creature's soul to its body. If the host body dies while you're doing it or while you're in it, the creature dies and you make a charisma saving throw, and then you return to the container. So if like you're Thaddeus and Thaddeus dies, you go back into the jar. Thaddeus's soul is dead, but you still sometimes die in that instance. But let's get a charisma save out of the deal. You're right. But if your body ever dies, you also die, right? If your body is more than 100 feet away from you, or if your body is dead when you attempt to return to it, you die.
Well, if you're attempting to return to your body.
Yes.
But you can, I mean, if your body's dead and you go back in the jar, I don't think you die. You just have to hang out in the jar and possess somebody else.
If your body is more than 100 feet away from you, or if your body is dead when you attempt to return to it, you die. So you might be right.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
I think you're right. Your body.
But a lot of risk of death that I don't love whenever I'm casting the spell. I mean, undoubtedly, this spell is really cool. Undoubtedly, it feels deeply magical. This feels like something I would just expect a basic bred lich to have at their disposal, right? This is an amazing villain tool. It is a top tier villain gimmick. I think this would make a great magic item. I don't know if it makes a great spell, just 'cause I don't love that as a DM you are auto opted into this because it's a 6th level wizard spell, right? I do think this fits a little bit better along the toolkit of the, if there was an item just called Magic Jar that you could give to players that wanted to do this kind of shenanigans. I think that would make
I don't know.
a bit more sense for it.
This isn't the sort of thing like planar travel where it can just mess up a DM's plans, like not as badly. I don't mind this
You
being
could
a
just
spell.
become an NPC, right?
Right.
This could just say like, all right, DM, I don't care what we were doing. I like our little that guy that's been traveling us for a while. That's like a lord of the land that we were trying to help. Yeah, screw that. I'm going in the jar, taking his body, and we're gonna live off his land. That's a thing you can do that feels very disjointed from a lot of other play.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
I mean, that's not as. I mean, you can do mundane things that are going to be equally devastating to what your DM had in mind.
Definitely true.
This,
All
I
things
mean,
considered,
6th level spell. This feels about right. Like,
I actually think it feels undercosted. This feels like a more expensive kind of spell to me. Like this
oh,
feels
yeah.
underrate for where I would want a consistently repeatable possession effect to be, especially given like the potential that it has with planning. I think I'm gonna give this a 4. I think Magic Jar seems really interesting, super weird, very evil. I don't think most characters need or want this.
All
I
right.
do think it does some powerful stuff though. So
All right. Is it inherently evil?
yes.
What if you're possessing the body of an evil person and making him give food to orphans?
Bob, didn't we learn as like 4-year-olds that 2 wrongs don't make a right?
Maybe you did.
Trapping a okay. All right, sure. I don't think there's much gray area on soul possession and trapping people's souls in reliquaries. I just don't think there's that much wiggle room on that one. But it's not in the real world, so.
What if this is a really despicable evil person? This is, you know, let's go with Hitler.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Now,
Hitler's not a good person. I'm glad he died.
no.
I'm glad that he was killed. Great. We're on that page. I don't know if this is a humane way to execute Hitler. I agree Hitler should be executed.
Humane.
I think it should be humane.
All right. I'm not even talking. Yeah, because you can always give him his soul back after he feeds all the orphans.
After you force his body to feed all the orphans,
Right.
he can't do shit while he's in the soul cage,
Exactly.
right? While he's in the little jar.
Then all right, you you take over Hitler. You go feed a bunch of orphans. Then you go in a prison cell.
Which I love. That's his redeeming. That's what redeems Hitler, is just feeding a bunch of orphans. Takes every evil thing he did. And
I did not think about this beforehand. And then you walk into a prison cell, swap bodies again, and you have Hitler, and now you can execute him. But first, you show him all the footage of him feeding the orphans, and so he'll feel really bad about it before you execute him. Best of both worlds.
I'm gonna stand pretty firmly that I don't think soul possession can ever be a good act. But maybe your DM disagrees, and that's the fun of the D&D, right? Is you can do some of the more immoral, wacky, wild, dark things without any harm or risk coming about it a lot of the time. Fun stuff. I had to play a necromancer with Magic Jar. This seems like a really fun time. It just also seems like a lot of work. So
I could play a neutral aligned character and not feel bad about this at all.
Okay, I'm glad that you definitely didn't say good though.
Well,
commoners, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this spell? Is it too complicated?
Gray area.
Did we get something wrong? What's the morality of it? Hit us with your thoughts and opinions. I want to ask, is feeding orphans enough to redeem Hitler? I don't think the answer is yes, but
Yes, that's the question on everybody's mind. All right, that was
Magic Jar?
Yes. I'll go ahead and agree with your 4. This is a powerful spell, and you could have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, maybe talk to your DM first though.
I
Especially, find out his view on the alignment thing. All right, That was Magic Jar. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.